Ram Krishna Hari. We come to the concluding session of Sant Muktabai Charitra. As we have travelled with these saints virtually in this journey, I offer my pranams at the feet of Lord Vitthal, the Varkari saints, and consider a very important mantra for all of us, and that is Nivrutti Jnandev Sopan Muktabai. If we chant this at least 11 times every day, we will be rid of all our material and physical world miseries. We come to the last section now, and as we saw in the previous one, that Muktai and Nivruttinath, along with Sant Namdev and many other saints who are on the pilgrimage or on the Wari with them, have come to Apega, which happens to be the maternal hometown of Muktai and Nivruttinath. As she comes there, the entire scene of her childhood flashes in front of her. She sees the place where they had their childhood. She can see the house where they lived. She remembers how her mother used to feed them and how her mother used to teach her certain ways of cooking. She also remembers the cruel treatment that was given to them by society post their parents giving up their lives at Prayag. She also remembers how her grandparents, her maternal grandparents, afraid of being ostracized by society, gave up on their grandchildren, and these four were left to fend for themselves. She is overcome with so many emotions that she realizes she has lost everything in her life. She has lost her parents at an early age. She has lost the love of her grandparents. She has even lost her brothers now, that is Mauli, Jnaneshwar Mauli, as well as Sopan Dev. She remembers how Nivruttinath and Jnandev Mauli would go for bhiksha and how Sopan Dev would take care of her at home. She misses him terribly. She also realizes that she has lost her disciple, a very ardent disciple of hers, Sangdev. With all these memories in front of her, she becomes very emotional and has tears in her eyes. Her eldest brother Nivruttinath, who is with her, realizes her emotions and embraces her and tells her that this is what life is about. We have all come here only to be separated from each other. We all had a common mission, and now our missions are getting over. Realizing what her brother is trying to tell her, Muktai tries to control her emotions. She stops eating during the pilgrimage as they're on. She stops eating food. Nivruttinath realizes that his sister is missing Jnandev and Sopan Dev terribly. And when she is not able to eat, he also doesn't feel like eating anything himself. So both of them remain hungry, not hungry in the actual sense, but they're hungry for the love, for the presence of their brothers, which they cannot directly or openly show because there are so many saints who are there around them who look upon them as ideals. Somewhere the Lord Vitthal inspires them and instructs them that they should not get completely emotional towards these things, because this is all a part of their human strategy. So he says, don't forget that in your human form you have divinity, and I am there in it. Even though you cannot see your brothers Jnandev and Sopan Dev, they are still there, their energies are still about you. And all this realization coming to Muktai, she then gently asks her brother, when do you advise that I should take Samadhi now? He looks at her fondly and says, why do you have to go anywhere? You are the energy form. So where are you going? At this, Muktai says, her words are very important. She says, I know there is nothing like coming or going from this world. I am energy and I am in the universal energy form. I am there in everything, I know that. But still, because I have been confined to this human form, there is a time for me also to exit. Both of them wonder as to how Muktai should take her samadhi. Nivruttinath logically explains to her that she, belonging to the feminine gender, for her to remain as a saint who is unmarried will be very difficult for society to accept, because in those days women were supposed to be married after they reached a very vulnerable or a very young age. So he said, the question of you remaining back as a brahmacharini, though you are a great yogini, you cannot remain as a brahmacharini because of certain societal duties. So if I ask you to take samadhi the way Nyandev or Sopandev have taken, that is also not possible, because it is not acceptable in the yogic world that women take samadhi in that particular manner. He says the only way in which you can leave this physical world is by merging into the elements of nature directly. And that, he says, is possible only by you becoming a Chiranjeevi, like how Hanumant or Markandeya were. So he says you will be Chiranjeevi. That is, you will be there all the time, but you will not be visible to people, but you will make yourself visible, or you'll appear in front of those devotees who call out to you. Just like we all know about Hanuman. So he says, just like Rama had blessed Hanuman that he should be a Chiranjeevi, in the same way, or Sita had blessed Hanuman that he should be a Chiranjeevi, in the same way he says, I, Nivruttinath, bless you that you become a Chiranjeevi. You will be there all the time. You have no death. But you will not be visible to people unless they call for you or they ask you for your help. She smiles and accepts it. Now the time has come for her to take samadhi. So let us see what exactly happens. They are all traveling from Apegaon back, and on the way back they come to the confluence or Sangam of the Tapi and the Purna Nadi. Just like the earlier samadhis took place, before the saints went into their caves, they had taken a dip in the holy waters, holy rivers, be it the Godavari or the Chandrabhaga and so many other rivers. In the same way, Mauli and Sopandev had taken a final snan, that is a final holy bath, before they went into samadhi. So Muktai also takes a dip at the confluence of these two rivers. She takes a dip in the Tapi river, and after that, when she comes out, she is walking on the shore of Tapi and she sits over there in a complete yogini meditative pose. There are saints who have gathered all around. Her eldest brother is also there. Sant Namdev is also there. And all of them stand with their hands folded, and she is sitting in a meditative pose. Suddenly, there happens to be a lot of lightning. The lightning, you cannot say, is in the sky. The lightning happens to be in a small lamp, because she is from the Nath Sampradaya. And so, for them, the most important form of worship is to the lamp, the fire. So suddenly there is a lightning or a very great fire which is set out there on the banks of the river Tapi. There seems to be a storm and dust is flowing all over, and Everyone has dust coming into their eyes. They cannot see what is in front of them. There is a loud sound of thunder, lightning strikes, and when they open their eyes, they find that Muktai is no longer there. They search for her, whether she has gone into the river back, she has been pushed into the river by the storm. But Nivruttinath knows that she has already merged in the sky because he has blessed her with a Chiranjeevi blessing. Now, Namdev is trying to search for her. He says, where did she go? What has happened to her? At that time, Nivruttinath says that she is already merged in the entire universe. She was energy and she has gone back to where she belongs. She has gone back to the source. And that is why it is said that there is no actual physical samadhi of Muktai anywhere. This entire thing happened at Kothiri. And they say that at Kothiri, there is a spot where she was last seen by all the saints, but where are her physical remains? She was not found in the water, she was not found on land, and therefore she must have merged with the air element, the Vayu element. And that is why even today at Kothiri, they consider that spot where she was last seen as her Samadhi spot, though there are no physical remains there. Muktai had a beautiful life, a life which all Varkari saints, especially women, feel proud that they should follow her instructions, they should follow the path that she also led. Her Tati se Abhang were an eye-opener for all of us. We have gone through this journey, and coming to the end of it, her own Abhang, the lines which are Mungi udali akashi, tine gidele suryashi. Here, the conclusion of this Abhang, she says, I am laughing at the small ant which flew up. Mungi is an ant, and she says it flew up to the sky and it swallowed the sun. Girle suryashi. Now, if you look at it literally, it seems a little absurd. But if you go into a little more depth, there are various ways in which interpretations have been given for this Abhang. But the best way in which she herself would have explained this would have been that Mungi is the symbol of subtlety, to be subtle. That is our Jivatma. And Surya is the Paramatma, the gross. So when the Jivatma merges with the Paramatma, there is no question of any duality. Everything has become one. It is Advaita. She has given us the lesson of Advaita all throughout. And this Advaita happens only when the Jivatma merges with the Paramatma. That is when we merge with the divine. We have it in us, but we have not merged in yet. And so when we merge into that, the entire duality seems to be disappearing. It dissolves away. Everything dissolves away. And she says, when there is nothing like a you and me, then what is the point in fighting for certain things? Throughout the entire Abhang, she says that, and that's why she says, I laugh at this particular situation where a small ant, which you think is capable of nothing, can swallow the sun. But it is not to be taken the practical sense. What she means is, all of us need to understand that we ultimately have come here on this earth, in this physical world, only for a self-realization, to realize who we are, what is our mission, not on the material aspect, but in the spiritual world. And so, for true upliftment, Muktai has always been working hard along with her brothers. Salutations to this great woman saint. And with this, we end the Charitra of Sant Muktabai. We offer our pranams at her feet. And as we said earlier, let us chant at least 11 times a day Nivrutti, Nyandev, Sopan, Muktabai, and see how life becomes blissful for us from the spiritual angle. Ram Krishna Hari.